go live here on Instagram as well. Give them a chance. I'm just going to share this into one page and one group on Facebook. For you guys that are on watching this anywhere streaming, hit the share button as this starts to inspire you. This will be a fun conversation. Share the page. And then we're not connected on Facebook, but if you're on there, I'm sure you are. I'll tag you and stuff and all that. Are you just Shante Daniels on Facebook, or are you something else?
Shante Daniels Coaching is the life page.
Okay. I'll tag you right now. Daniels Coaching. Got it. Boom. Okay. Now I'm gonna go live on IG. All right, hey guys, getting ready to go to a live enlightened conversation here with Shante Daniels, Sexuality Coach. Shante, once we are both live on IG, what we'll do is we'll turn the sound so we don't hear anything coming out of our computers. We won't mute the Zoom or anything because that's going to record. But then we'll only hear sound coming out of our phone. Okay. So I have to. Hello. It's going to be a fun conversation. You guys stay tuned. I'm going to tag Shante here.
Let's talk about sex. Let's talk about you.
Join me on IG. Are you coming?
Talk about all the good things and the bad things that may be.
You're funny. They can't hear you. I want you to sing that on the. Come, join me on IG.
Okay. Oh, you want me to get live? Okay. Are we all in the studio? Okay. We'll put this up here.
We'll be live. I like to give everybody a chance to get whatever it is that they're meant to get from this conversation. Your handle on IG is just Shante Daniels Coaching, yeah?
Correct.
Okay. No underscores or anything like that.
Nope.
Perfect. Daniels Coaching. Show you guys.
It's a whole production. Wait a minute. I put on my good hair for you too, Noel, so we can have this conversation today. Like, okay. All in Miami and stuff. Hold on. Let me do IG. Did you invite me to go live? Let me go to your live. I was just on there. Noel Strand sounds like a very, how do you say, stage name.
I'll take it. At one point, I thought I was going to be acting in LA, but that wasn't the path.
Give up.
That wasn't the path. That was a temporary trying to fill a hole in life because I didn't make it as a professional athlete. It was like, let me go play.
When did you play basketball?
I was a baseball player. Did you hit the join me on Instagram?
Join request.
There you go. All right. Here we go, everyone.
Let's turn it around.
Okay, so I just muted my computer so that we could just hear us on the phone.
So you want me to mute my computer too?
Yeah, so you only hear sound coming out of one place, out of the phone.
Oh, so I didn't need my thing. It's still echoing. Why?
If you only hear sound coming out of your phone, then you won't hear an echo. But if you still have sound coming out of your computer... Oh, what you did, you muted Zoom. So unmute Zoom and then just mute the sound coming from your computer. There you go.
Is that
Yeah, we're good. We are good. All right. Put this phone down. I want to give all you guys a chance to tune into this fun conversation. I'm going to hit record here on Zoom. And we are ready. You ready?
good? I stay ready.
Oh, no. It's going to be fun.
Okay, come back and let me turn it again so everybody can see us.
One flip of the phone.
Okay.
All right.
Get our life together here. Give the people the best angle.
Get all this technology going. I'm doing the same thing.
Yeah. Do this
Boom.
right. Hold on. We gotta get. There we go. Here we go. Hey.
All right, let's do it. All right, you guys, welcome to another episode of Enlightened Conversations. Excited for today, and it's going to be a fun conversation. If you guys have been tuning in for a while, you know that anytime I get a chance to talk with anything sexuality related, with sex coaches or tantra teachers or whatever it might be, we tap in and we tune into my favorite part of life, and really, one of the most awesome parts of life for all of us, human connection, and what that could look like. And I'll just give you guys a little sneak preview. It's unlimited where this can go, this conversation can go, and where we can go as humans. So I want to introduce you guys to Shante Daniels, who is in the Houston, Texas area here in the United States, and she is a sexuality coach and awesome human, fun human. We were already enjoying vibing before we came on camera here, and so
Dropping you.
you're good. She's got a whole studio set up behind her. Like we're zooming it. We're live on Zoom and Facebook and Instagram and Periscope and YouTube. We're live all over the place. So if you guys are anywhere where you can hit share, definitely hit the share button and give somebody else a chance to have their life impacted. You guys can ask us questions here on IG. Hit the little questions button below. Or if you guys are on any of the other platforms, you have to join us on Zoom and you guys can ask us questions there. So want to introduce you guys to Shante, and if you could share with the audience so they're more familiar with you, who you are, what you do, why you do it, any of these good things. Or I keep stalling if you're still setting up your technology.
I know you hear it. I'm like, yeah, keep stalling if this thing would like to stay. I had everything set up for Zoom. And I was like, oh, we're doing this on IG. Okay, there we go. Okay.
You're good.
Like, hold on, wait. Okay, y'all, look. All right, I think that's gonna stay like that.
Shante's got a green. She's got a green screen behind her, so she could do all the studio background. So that's what we have on Zoom.
I want y'all to see my heart and stuff. So y'all gotta go to his abundance page so you can get the whole Zoom experience. When you download it and stuff, y'all gotta get the experience, okay? But anyway, okay. So who am I? I am Shante Daniels. I am love. I am light. I am passion. I am pleasure. I am everything encompassing all of that. And my gift to share with the universe is to bring about abundance through sexuality, through energy, through fitness. I do believe in sexual fitness, and we'll talk about core orgasms later, having orgasms while exercising. There's something about it that I find just intrinsically beautiful, right? So I hope to share that with the world. That is my desire, is to influence everybody I ever come across with the love and passion that sexuality brings to me through energy and awareness. Essentially is what I do.
I love it. You're speaking my language already, Shante. And you mentioned core orgasm and orgasm while exercising. We'll definitely get into that because you're gonna open up my attention to another area of life. Even though I think that sometimes I'm not gonna lie, I've been in the gym sometimes and been surprised by pictures from humans out there that I wasn't expecting, and I know how to have energetic orgasms, and I had to sit on the bench for a second. I was like, let me just sit down for a second. I wasn't.
Gather yourself.
So we may be talking about something similar or something different, but the point is, for all of it, it's unlimited, and energy is just my favorite thing to talk about, because once we're aware that different frequencies exist, which before we are aware, we're not aware, and then when we are, we can get back to it, and we can realize that it can expand even beyond that. And so
Right.
Let's before we dive like straight in, like I'm always curious because like for all of us, like we come here to this planet as little unconditional loving little babies, and for most of us, we forget who we are along the way. Like we start maybe comparing ourselves to other humans, wondering are we enough, and asking ourselves are we worthy, and then it's always my hope that the light bulb can come back on so that we can really enjoy life like we came here to enjoy life in whatever area matters to us. So was your journey more of you just went from unconditional loving little baby to boom what we see here today, or was there some was there some other elements of life that like all of us had to experience?
So of course there were, right? So I started off in life thinking, I always loved to talk first and foremost. But my talking got me in a lot of trouble, right? Like you can't do that when you're in school. They don't want you to talk. They always call you disruptive, right? I was disruptive. I was talkative. Other people were getting their work done. So it was like, but I love to talk. And so my mom would always say, someday your mouth's going to make you a lot of money. And I'm like, okay, well, I don't know what that's going to be. So, of course, I started off as like an actress in that world, and I thought that was going to be my passion, which it is still kind of a little bit. But more so, sexuality, I have regular childhood trauma, I guess, that some people would have, but it's not like anything like super, super substantial, right? But I did go through my share of sexual hurdles, right? Defining my sexuality, defining who I am. And as sex is concerned, right? And being owner of that. I wanted to own my sexuality. I wanted to own my experiences. So I did not want to allow society or anything else, other people around me, to define what I could and could not do. Like, you might call it hoism. I call it an experience. Like you may say, she's a slut. I call it pretty sexy. You know what I mean? So I did not want them to define me for who I was, and I had like self-esteem issues, probably like most teenagers do, right? So you have these self-esteem issues, and you want the boys or the girls, depending same sex, to like you, right? You want them to feel you. But I wasn't like getting the best out of the situations, and that's when I was like, hold on, you're just not gonna get these cookies for free. I'm like, I need some stuff too. I need to get experience some good too, So then I started thinking, how many of us are just doing it and going through the motions? When are we gonna stop just going through the motions and start experiencing the moments? And so as I, of course, got older, went to college, did not study sexuality like I should have, I thought, okay, well, I'm going to go get a corporate job. But I was always talking sex in my corporate job. And I never got fired. That's when you're doing the stuff you're supposed to do. I worked in HR and was still helping people with their sex lives and never got fired. I said, what? I think I should do something with this. You know what I mean? So I just really came to being that sex was not only what I love to do, but it was also part of who I am. And I think that's what the key is, when we learn about who we are outside of what we do and make it what we do. And that's what I liked about you, Noelle, is that you focus on the fun. Like when I was looking at your IG profile and researching you a little bit, I'm like, oh my goodness, he's all about fun. And that's one of the things I say. I say it all the time. Either I'm going to have fun doing it, or I'm going to make it fun, or I'm not going to do it at all, period. Right? So that's with work, that's with friendships, that's with relationships. Either it's fun or I'm not doing it. So I always challenge my clients to think the same way. Is it fun? Do you enjoy it? Does it get you excited in the morning, right? Like to get up, you get up moist, don't let it go to waste. Get up hard, don't let it go to waste. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't have to let it go to waste. You better put that thing down. You know what I'm saying? I don't like to let a hard one go to waste. I be sad sometimes. Sometimes it makes me tear up a little bit if you let a hard one go to waste. But sometimes I'm busy and I'm like, hold on, just hold tight, okay? Hold tight.
Oh my gosh, this conversation is going to be so much fun. It's already fun. So I just want to point out for the audience, and yes, I use the word fun more than any word in the English language by far, because when I realized it, I wasn't always this way. I mean, I've always been fun loving for sure, and this part of life, sexuality, has always been my favorite part of life ever since like I was 10 years old, wondering if the girls were paying attention as I was dribbling on the basketball court, and I was like, they're not really paying that much attention to me. Like, I'm going to have to go up and talk to them. And so I started going up and talking to them. And then that led to me being 12 years old and 13, me and my best friend in the mall, going up and giving ourselves an hour and a half on the clock. And let's say we meet back at the food court. Let's see who can get the most phone numbers. Like, it was just the evolution of all of it. And so this has always been a part of life that was fascinating to me. But what I realized when, I got older, that the only moment promised to any of us was right now and right now. And so, like you described it so many different ways as you just shared all of the beautiful things that you shared. But so many of us have an opportunity to enjoy a life experience. And, in that moment, we actually want to. And then all of a sudden, we start to have these other things come in our mind, like, well, should I be doing this? Or all these question marks, or whatever it might be. That's the only moment promised. So if you have an opportunity, whether it be sexual or other, to do something that your soul, like your spirit really wants to do, like a life experience you want to have, who's to say you're going to have another opportunity to have this life experience tomorrow or down the road when that's not promised to you? So
you better tell them, Noel, capture the moment. Capture the moment.
Absolutely. 100%. And so, once like I started living like that way, and any of us can, we can choose to just appreciate the moment no matter what we're doing. Then from there, it's like these beautiful synchronicities will come because, if you're open to the next, awesome person coming into your life or the next life experience, whatever it might be, Chantel just described, throughout that to where she was at a point where, she was like, well, I don't want to give this away for free. I want to and I'm curious to know what you mean by that. And as far as like, now what, like, because I meet girls over the years that, sometimes I'll meet them in a phase where they're just open and they're just having fun and like it's all good, and then other times I'll meet them in a phase where they've decided that right now, like, they're only going to enjoy sexual experience if all this stuff lines up the way that they want it to. Both all good. Like, it's just the reason that we even know that we want to live either way is because of all the life experiences leading up to that moment, and that's just where you are right now. So the most important thing for me and for everybody always is to be really clear on what matters and what you want for you. And then from there, being able to be honest with anybody that comes into your path and honest with yourself, most importantly, then you can attract whatever you want, however that looks for you. So.
Right. Exactly. And what I mean by free is that I was not getting what I wanted out of the experience. So I felt like that was just them enjoying all that is the nectar and I'm not getting anything from it, So I started to think there's so many of us that we say we take one for team, or we call them pity sex, we call it all kind of stuff. That's just like, okay, let's just get it done with. And it's like, wait a minute, how many times we gonna do this now? Let's get this together, okay? Like, it needs to be mutual beneficial, right? Mutually beneficial for both parties. And I think once we start realizing that, and a lot of some of us are taught, depending on religion or other things, is that certain feminine or masculine energy is dominant, right? So you just are there to please the masculine energy, and no. So I'm like, I needed to understand. I needed my friends to understand, my peers to understand, even some of the masculine energy individuals. And this is male and female. There's females who carry masculine energy as well that like to be dominant, but don't know how to be submissive when it's time. So it's like to think about that and think of submission as sexy. Like submission can be very sexy and very in tune and just like having someone to overpower you and then using that energy as creative energy to then go out and get your dreams done. Like to go fulfill your dreams and fulfill your fantasies and fulfill everything to use that sexual energy. And so when I say free, I mean it's not mutually beneficial for both parties. Like, if we don't do that. We need to make sure we're recouping our ROI, right? Our return on investment.
Absolutely. So it's so interesting, like what you're describing, because like I've been thinking just more lately. Like I have basically the only rule for myself that I have, because I've been happily single since January 2016, and the reason that is because I'm just in love with the synchronicities of life, the adventure of life, knowing that I could leave my house today and meet a human that I didn't even know existed 5 seconds ago. And if I'm open to it and they're open to it, who knows? It could be an awesome conversation. We could spend the rest of the day together. I just never know. And there's been so many situations in my life because I was open and just excited for the universe to bring me whatever it is that is in alignment for me and my path. And there's been so many times where, universe will bring me someone and I get to share with them some things that I know, whether it be about sexuality or about energy or about law of attraction or about whatever it is. And it feels so good to be able to share with another human being. And, as a result, like we want to go in together to these energies, these frequencies where I like to say that as human beings, we try to label energy like with bliss, euphoria, ecstasy, nirvana, but we can go even further than that, but we just don't have words to even describe it. And so when we realize that if we're present, like enjoying spending time with another human being, whether it leads to a sexual experience or not, those are my favorite experiences. But if we're just present to and we're allowed the energy to go there, like we could all of a sudden. This is what I love about human connection is you just don't know when all of a sudden you'll be face to face with someone where you're going to be sharing energies where. That's why we don't have to make it so difficult for us out there, like the 7.7 billion humans on Earth. And a lot of times people are so like worried about, is this going to be like the Prince Charming or the end all be all? You can have that if that's what you want out there. If you want a monogamous relationship that, get married, have kids and all this stuff, it's available. Like we can all have whatever it is we desire, but it's the attachment, the need to having it now before we can feel happy on the inside is what's slowing it down from coming. And I love just reminding everybody of that because if you can not need it, that's when it comes. And you get to enjoy life however.
Exactly. Tell them, Noel.
let you guys, if you guys have questions on IG, if you want this conversation to go anywhere, put them in the question box. How easy is it for you to look at the camera in the Zoom computer? Is that an easy turn or does that mess you up, Shante? Yeah. You want to stay looking at me on IG. I want to give you guys some love on the other streaming sites.
Want me to get a little closer to the light? Let's go this way. I should have put this up higher on a riser. Okay.
You're good.
Let me put it like that.
I'm just giving y'all some love over on Periscope, and you guys never heard of Periscope out there. YouTube, Facebook. Okay. I'm giving you guys some love too.
I'm work it all for the people, okay? I'm gonna work it for y'all like this.
But if you, we're good either way. If you guys have questions and you want this conversation to go anywhere, definitely ask it. So now, Shante, I'm super curious because now, obviously this is a passion for yours. I think everybody could tell that right off the bat. This is why I enjoy these conversations because when two people that are speaking about anything that they're both passionate about, it's just going to be a fun conversation. And so I already knew that coming in. So now you're coaching and you're doing things. So, how did it go from HR giving, that actually is very interesting that you were giving sexual advice and being open to it in a place where a lot of times it could be like, oh, this person said something that even implied sexuality. And now all of a sudden, and then it led to now you're actually coaching people and doing, working in your passion. Like, how did that evolution go? And
I had to, when it's like, really what it boiled down to is everyone was coming to me for advice a lot, and I'm just like, okay, I was so willing to help, so eager to help, so willing to research more about what I didn't know. And, when you start researching things and then you start taking you down a rabbit hole and you find yourself the next 4 or 6 hours that you've done all this research and it felt fun and pleasurable, then it's time for you to start to act in your gift, right? So that's essentially what happened. It was the hours of study, the hours of willingness to just be caught up in books. It was like, you know what? And then I was selling veteran candy at the time as like a side thing. And Dr. Rachel Ross, who was on the Doctors for a while, she opened up Academy to learn about sexuality coaching. And so I was like, I have to do it. Like, right, I have to do that. I want to go get certified in this. And so I did. And it just has been a blessing ever since. It really, really has. And it's opened up my mind spiritually as well as energetically. Like, literally, I probably manifested you because at some point I was like, I want to be surrounded around more people who talk about abundance and manifestation. And then here you come, the angel of abundance. And I was like, wait a minute. That was bad. And I was like, oh my goodness, how awesome. So it's really just putting that energy out there, telling the universe what you want, what you desire. And I remember a while back, I wrote like a Facebook post. And in the post it said, there's only 3 things I really love. And that was acting, fitness, and sex. I'm like, how do I make that a job? I'm like, how do I make that a job? And so now that's when I started getting more into like sexual fitness, right? Because I work out every single day. And now to be able to like entangle that entanglement, that's our word for the rest of 2020. I'm an entanglement with it all. Like, I'm in an entanglement with it all. So having that just bursting out of me, like there was no way I could not adhere to the calling. You know what I mean? There was just no way.
Absolutely.
So, like, for you exactly, like you say that you have now kind of gotten into How long have you been practicing this law of attraction and abundance? Like, what has called you? And like I said, I saw you have a lot of sexuality coaches. You seem to be very in tune with sexuality as well. So what is it that you desire to do?
This is just by far, so as human beings, when we realize, like what we described, when it comes to energy and that it can go to unlimited places, we just have to, we don't have to, but it's great if we can become aware of what areas of life allow our energy to go to places where it's like, I'm just having an amazing time. And for me, anytime I'm involved in anything where I'm having an amazing time, the rest of the planet doesn't exist. Like, it just doesn't. Like, I'm so focused on and present to what I'm doing. So like for me, like sexual experiences are by far, like, I know how to get to frequencies where I didn't even know that they existed 5 years ago, 10 years ago, to where I can have like a full body orgasm as a dude. And I used to think that most guys think that orgasm is when we ejaculate. And that's what they think, like that's when sex stops for us. We have to take a break, and then that's not true. Like there's so many levels like beyond that for us out there as guys. And I was always envious of you ladies because I see you guys having, multiple orgasms and all these things and feeling amazing. And there was no requirement for anything to stop. Like we just got to continue. So it's just a discovery, for all these years. So this has always been my favorite part of life. And I'm just open to discovering more about myself and about energy and about life and attracting awesome human beings and just enjoying. So all the stuff that I do, like when it comes to like you mentioned fitness and all this stuff, like I stay in amazing shape because a sexual experience for me will never end because I'm tired. Like that's never what ends it. Like to be 100% transparency, since it's been a very transparent conversation, the only time my sexual experiences really end is when my partner is like, well, no, we got to take a break. Because this is why I'm out running on the beach like for miles and miles, because I don't get tired. It just doesn't. My body doesn't get tired. I don't breathe hard. Like it just takes a while. So it's just to be able to enjoy life more and to be able to, and I'm not saying everybody out there like wants to enjoy life like I enjoy life, but we all have different things that we enjoy about life. And if we can be present to them and allow the energy to go where it wants to go, it's unlimited. None of us have ever had our best sexual experience, our most powerful orgasm, our most fun that we can have. None of us have ever experienced that yet because it's unlimited. It can go even further, and it's fun to know that about life. So, yeah, this journey started for me years ago. I had a mentor introduce law of attraction to me in 2009, 2008. And then, it wasn't at that time. I needed something because I thought I was going to play pro sports. And when I didn't, I was trying to do all the stuff external to make myself feel good on the inside. Yeah. And it just wasn't, that doesn't work very well for anybody that's trying that right now or has tried that. Like if you don't get yourself right on the inside, then life is going to be a roller coaster. And so a lot of people are experiencing that right now because of external things that are going on in the world. And they're feeling it on the inside, and unfortunately it's reflecting more unpleasant activities on the outside, and it's kind of like a vicious cycle. So I love reminding people of this as well.
Yeah, so now you're just attracting all your abundance.
Abundance, when I say abundance, is having more than enough of everything that matters to us. So time, money, relationships, health, like everything that matters, having more than enough. Yes, that's my favorite part of life. So, and then the biggest challenge, Shante, at the beginning of the whole quarantine thing, COVID thing, I started to notice, and I allowed it to affect my energy on the inside, but I noticed that I'm very aware of my energy, that because human connection wasn't being as accepted, I started saying the story that I was playing a really fun game of conscious musical chairs when it comes to sexuality. And then all of a sudden the music went off, and I was like, damn, I don't have a chair right now, and I don't know when the music is coming back on. So I went, it was real rough. Like there was no preparation time where I was like, okay, the music's about to go off. Like, let's make sure that we can hang out so that both of us, like there was none of that for me. It was just one of those moments in time where I was just enjoying what the universe was bringing me. So my point is, I went 2 weeks without even having a hug. Like that. I don't know if there's ever been a time in my life where it's like, I don't really even go 2 weeks without, having, fun sex. That's a long time without having a sexual experience for me. Yeah. So the hug, that was just rough. So, but as soon as I released it, and this is a great reminder for everybody, as soon as I didn't need the hugs or the kisses or the sexual experiences in order for me to feel good on the inside, I could release it, get back to focusing on what I could do in the moment. The second I released it, that same day, I met someone that ended all of those streaks. The same day. I just out going for a run out on the boardwalk the same day. So,
and that is the lesson: release the attachment to.
Absolutely. Right. Absolutely. We can have all the desires, and we're all going to have desires. Like, we're expanding beings, like in an expanding universe. So the desires that's natural. However, if we need the desire before we can feel good, the desires are just going to be slow coming. But if we don't need it, then they come quick. That's no pun intended.
Then they come quick. Hold on. Jump back here. Okay. So y'all can see me and not all my studio background. Okay. So that's what I really wanted to know, that because I think by your transparency and those type of conversations is how you start to introduce people to abundance. Like, I don't think they get it. Like, they limit themselves so much. And I feel like all of us as humans, we all have those parts and phases in our lives to where we limit ourselves. And then we start thinking, okay, what am I doing? I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do next. What do I do next? And then it's like, but the second you release it, you let it go, you let it fly. You say, whatever the universe has for me is for me, and you know it's flowing your way, then it flows your way.
Absolutely.
It simply flows your way. It's like one of the most beautiful things ever. Like, it literally just flows your way. And I can't even, like, sometimes it's so hard for me to put in words, especially for newbies who don't understand it. And you hear it all the time, right? Somebody's stuck in negative complaining land, and you can offer them so many different suggestions as far as abundance, positive thinking. You know, you can offer them all of these wonderful suggestions, and every single one, they'll have an excuse why that won't work for them, right? We all know those people, or have come encounter with those people. So after a while, when you've done this work for so long, you start to like weed those people out, because that just doesn't do any good for your energy. But I find myself, even in my work, right, like, they have a reason why I can't work, why they don't have time, why the kids are there. So I like to call myself mommy and daddy sex coach, right? I have 3 children. I'm going to find a way, right? Like, I will find a way. Like, literally, I built a studio in the closet because those kids up there driving me crazy. You know, Corona, they ain't got nowhere to go. So I'm like, okay, look, well, mommy's going to get in the closet, okay? And this is also where my 3rd son was conceived, in the closet. Because when I say, when there's a will, there's a way, okay? And I'm like, I always listen to these parents, like, I just can't do it. I don't know what to do. You know, we just don't have time. The baby sleeps in the room with us. I'm like, baby, sleep. It's okay. Just whisper. Be quiet. You know what I'm saying? There's always a way. But, like, luckily, I do have a spouse who's extremely open and extremely, like, you know, he allows me to do the work that I need to do. And I think I'm very fortunate that way. But I also know that I manifested said spouse, right? Because I wasn't taking, you know, there's something about us as sexual beings that it's really hard to have others in our lives. Like, that's probably why you've been, like, single for so long. You're enjoying it, right? You're enjoying the single life, the coming and going, the, you know, the not answering to anything but a higher power, and attracting all your abundance without interruption. That's hard to do. You know, that's like a blessing in itself. You know what I'm saying? When you're manifesting, sometimes you got to go into the closet and manifest. You know, you got to manifest your reality. But like I say, I'm very real. And I do understand hurdles and obstacles, but I do also understand the work. And the work is necessary, but, like, you have to surround yourself with the people who also do the work, right? Like, that's why right now I'm in a purging mode where a lot of the negative thinkers and those kind of people are going to have to be put on hold until I do some more work, because they start to affect my energy, right? So when my energy starts to get affected, everything in the household starts to get affected, and we got to clear that up. You know what I mean, Noel?
Absolutely. It's the awareness that Shante just described is so important for everybody out there with the relationships that you have in your life. Like, if you make a decision that your energy in the moment is all that you can control. So no matter what your energy, your vibe, your mood, your frequency, your vibration, these are all synonyms. Doesn't matter what it was yesterday. Doesn't matter what it'll be tomorrow. What is it that I'm bringing to this moment of life right now? And if that matters to you, if you want to be at peace, or if you want to be happy or excited or loving or whatever, optimistic that things are working out, anything that feels good, if that's important to you, then if there are people in your life where right now that's not important to them, one of 2 things are going to happen when you guys come into contact with each other. If your energy, say, in that situation is at peace or happy, or just call it happy, and they're frustrated or anxious or worried about something, not that they're a bad person, I'm not judging them and what their energy is, but this is just what it is right now. They're either going to come join you in your happiness and play with you there, or you can use them as an excuse to join them. Say, I was in such a good mood until you came around, and now you're raining on my parade, and Now you join them in your frustration, and or you guys just won't want. If you guys are both like solid and I'm gonna be happy, I'm gonna be frustrated, you guys just aren't gonna want to hang around with each other, either of you, and that's cool. Like I have people sometimes that because we have those relationships in our life that we've known these people for a long time. Maybe they're friends, maybe they're family members, and lots of life experiences with them. And so I make sure, and if there's ever been like challenges in those relationships in whatever way, shape, or form, I may love them, love this person, but if I know that they like to complain a lot or like to gossip a lot or always frustrated about something, and I see them showing up on my cell phone, I really have to check in with my energy, like what's my vibe right now. And if I'm in a good mood, I like to be even like playful with these humans because like that energy is stronger. So I'm not gonna come down and like be frustrated with them if I'm playful. And I've even had them at times say, Noel, you're just way too much for me right now. Like I can't deal with you right now. And that's cool. That just means that they wanted to stay frustrated and I want to stay playful. Yeah, it's just not time for us to interact, and that's cool. I don't have to like kick them out of my life forever, but sometimes people will be moved out of your life that aren't a consistent match to your energy, and new people will be moved in, and that's the cool thing about life is for you guys out there, if you're just clear on whatever it is that is important to you, whatever matters to you, and say it's a relationship that you want, or like you see how Shante described her relationship, like she's attracted a partner where she still gets to enjoy life in the way that her third child conceived in the closet. Like I love that. Like I'm sure that when you were saying that there's people that make the excuses they can't, have their fun because there's a kid sleep in the room. Were you guys never had roommates, and you guys never had to share a room with someone, or you weren't in college? Like I remember so many instances on sports trips and in college dorms where there's somebody asleep on that bed right there, but that didn't stop me. Like, hey, if you start making noise, then you're gonna wake them up. But it is what it is. Like I'm.
That's life experiences, and I think sometimes you cannot trade life experiences for book knowledge or what somebody else can teach you or whatever. You really sometimes have to have life experiences. But then I also understand that there's some people who don't see sexuality the same way, and they postpone until a serious relationship, or then they have to go through those growing pains with said partner after they decide to open that up. And sometimes it's really hard for someone who's sexually active to now train or school someone who has less life experiences, right? Like sometimes people are not in a teaching, coaching mood in a relationship. Sometimes people don't want to do that within a relationship. Sometimes they want you to come table teaching them some tricks. So sometimes you may have to hire Shante Daniels as your coach. You're like, hey, I need to learn some tricks real quick so I can, turn him out real quick or turn her out real quick. And then, I'm saying, like, it's the energy thing. It's a vibe thing. And I think, and I need to clear this too. I don't give live demonstrations. I get that question a lot, whether or not they want to do like a live demonstration or want me to help show them something on them. I don't do that. I can definitely coach you through some things, but I'm not going to give you a live demonstration on my body with your body if we don't have that kinetic energy. So I just need to clear that up because I get every time I do like one of these, I get these like weird DMs, and I'm like, oh no, that's not how this works. But I'm saying all that to say, like, life experiences with abundance, with attraction, like all the stuff that we covet so deeply, you and I, and obviously other people that have the same mindset, can definitely be experienced from those who are not trained. It's never too late to take in abundance and law of attraction and those attributes. I think my aunt was the first one to show me The Secret, I think in 06? Maybe 06, 07, whenever that came out. And ever since then, my world changed. Like, I probably have read all of her books. Like, everything about that concept is just hits home every time. And it's just a reminder for us all, like for us all, even if it sounds strange, if it sounds like witchcraft, I would invite you to just try positive thinking for just a day. Just one day, start with one affirmation and say it all damn day long. And just see if your life won't change. Like, wouldn't you agree, Noel?
Absolutely. And just what you described is I just recommend everybody just being open to just to have new consciousness come. Like, if you're out there and you think that you know it all, I don't care how old you are, stop it. Like, you don't. Like, you're not even, none of us will have all the secrets of the universe in this one life experience. It's not necessary, and you just won't. And so the moment you close yourself off to new awareness in any area of life, life becomes very stagnant for you. Like, it's hard to get, the universe can't bring you new awarenesses, and new people might have information for you. Like Shante, you're being introduced to her right now. And if there's any type of, energetic pull towards discover what some of the things that she knows, because she has her own life experiences that you haven't had. And so this is why I love having these conversations, because if you're inspired to take an action step of following Shante or, reaching out to her for, whatever it might evolve into, whether it be coaching or whatever, that life experience will give you new clarity and help you on your journey. And this is how life works for all of us. I've been the most open human. I'm so appreciative of this. Like when I was a kid, like I would be like and the baseball players on sports teams, on pro sports teams, there's always a bat boy. And your job is to run out and get the bat after the professional players finish hitting and to go back to the dugout, and that's your job. And so I was fortunate enough to do that for a few games. And my dad had to pull me aside after the first one. He's like, Noel, your job is to go get the bats, not to sit next to the players talking to them. Like I was the kid, Shante, that always said on all my report cards, Noel is a pleasure to have in class. However, talks excessively and disturbing those around him. so I'm doing that with the players, and I'm not just like talking about like just random stuff. I'm asking them like tips. I'm like, hey, when you do that, like with your hands, like what is that doing for you? Like I don't want your autograph. I want you to teach me something. So I've always been open to. My whole life, I've always been open. So I highly recommend you out there just to be open, and then it'll be a forever thing. Like you always attract whatever it is that's needed on your journey. So
a forever student of life.
Absolutely. I want to hear about the sexual fitness, the orgasm while working. Like I want to hear about that. Like this is a new.
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
So a lot of times it happens more so in women, but it stems from the core, right? Like like your sacral chakra and all that. From the core, a lot of that is all intertwined in our sexual organs, right? Because it all runs through kind of our pelvis area. So imagine overly stimulating or stimulating it enough to where it causes literally an energetic orgasm. So think of different, like even fire breaths. Are you all familiar with fire breaths? So if you're not, it's more like even that. If you start to just do that, you will start to feel the blood circulation rising and rising in that core area. So can you imagine just hold on, look, I don't want to have an orgasm here on Instagram. They're gonna probably
I've had that. Won't be the first on my channel.
Wait, they might report us. Okay, look. So anyway, like doing those breaths. So even doing those breaths with a partner, trying out there and doing those fire breaths with a partner, sometimes it kind of, again, brings that arousal to the midsection. So a lot of it happens with core workouts. So if you want to try it with core workouts and really start to envision all of the blood circulating to your genitals, like let it go to the genitalia area and really focus. It is very possible, extremely possible, to have an orgasm that way. And I do a lot of work around that. And I actually started to kind of dive more into it. Sorry, I don't want my computer to die on Zoom. So doing more work on that has helped me really expand. And obviously, I want to work out more, right? Like, I want to work out more. I want to be even in more shape. But like I said, I just had a baby. So trying to get that core back together, having an orgasm also helps strengthen your core muscles, right? Because you guys remember, when y'all have those orgasms, like, oh, and it hits like real good and you squeeze everything together, like that's also working your core. So don't forget that, y'all, okay? That's important too, okay? The core workout. So a lot of that stems around that, but to answer your question, there's several different exercises, but the primary is like the core. So any core workouts that you do, feel free to invite an orgasm into your life.
You plugged in your Zoom computer?
Huh? Oh, yes.
That's the most important. Y'all have to pause here on Instagram. This is the most important. This is the recording. I'm going to chime in on what Shante she was just talking about. Like the core, like so important. Yeah. Guys out there too. I mean, if you want to be able to enjoy it as much as you can enjoy it, which is unlimited, like get your butt out there and run. Running is important, is valuable. Every time what gets tired first when I'm running is my stomach muscles. That's what gets tired because on my core, like every step and I'm running in sand too. So I mean, that's a whole nother. That's a whole nother element. But there's so many exercises that I do. Like I'm gonna teach you guys a secret weapon. Like for all of you guys, like I have a medicine ball over here, and I don't use it like most people use the You guys have ever seen me post on my stories where I'm doing like little? Like it's strictly for the core. Like even though you might think so, imagine putting a medicine ball on the ground. This may sound extreme, and you may not ever do this, but I'm just telling you guys. Like I know some really extreme core exercises that allow all of this to be. So imagine having a medicine ball on the ground and you're kneeling in front of it. So it's on the ground and you're on your knees in front of it. It's like right in between you. And so no matter how if you need to put gloves on or, whatever. So I take with this, because this is the hardest part of your arm, like this part, and then this is the hardest part of your hand. So yeah, so you have like it's almost like the equivalent of like your shin, but it's on the back of your forearm, and then this part of your hand. So I do both, and I'll go straight down from in front of me, and I'll just kind of put a little pressure. Like it ends up being a strike over time, but it doesn't have to start that way. Like you can just go down and just push down, just put a little pressure on it, just put a little pressure on it, just put a little pressure on it. And what you'll realize is every time you put pressure on it, every muscle in your core, like stomach and back, is working to stabilize you. Because if I'm going from a kneeling position and I'm going to put pressure on that part of my arm, in order to hold my weight up without falling over, my core has to stabilize to keep me up. And so like you'll get, I don't even do traditional sit-ups. I just do stuff like this. And I have like all the, six pack and all this stuff, but the visual is nice. But really the strength of it and the core strength of it is why I do all that stuff. And then you'll get stronger in these places where you can actually, strike it a little bit. And then it's like even more extreme. And you can do the same thing with this part of your hand. I mean, just try it. Just try putting pressure on it and just see.
On the medicine ball.
On the medicine ball.
Okay, look, I'm going to try that later.
Yeah.
And I'm going to let you know how it worked for you.
Yeah. Just start with like, even just leaning against it, just putting a little pressure on it. It doesn't have to be like full out, like, striking it, but just starting to lean and just notice how your core is holding you up, is stabilizing you so you don't fall over. And that's,
I'm feeling that. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to let you know how that worked for me. Get my core right.
But just the fact that you enjoy working out, like how you described it, like you love doing it, I highly recommend everybody out there finding something that you enjoy, like fitness-wise, to where your heart rate goes up and you start to sweat and all this stuff. Like, find anything sex is the best way to do this, but you're not going to likely have sex every day. Maybe you will. Maybe you're in that type of a relationship, but that's the best like core workout and the best like cardio workout. But to prepare for that and
You're
to
doing it right. This ain't for you lazy people that just sit on the bottom and don't do anything. Look, you have to be doing it right, okay? Look, don't say you had sex and burn calories if you just sat there and laid like a dead fish, okay? Shante is not telling you to sit there and lay like a dead fish, okay? Do we understand? No dead fishes, okay? Thank you.
And just because you're on the bottom doesn't mean that you have to be I'm very formidable from the bottom. I'll just put it, that's the best way that I can describe it. Like in fact, I think I can give the most pleasure from the bottom just because I understand what's going on and I know how to get to, we could talk about lots of things. And it's funny it's funny how people ask you for like live demonstrations. Like I don't need to give any live demonstrations. Like I could show you just from what the body is doing. Once you're aware of your own body, and then you're aware of your partner's body, and then you understand, like you can communicate and you understand how to get to some of these places and what feels good and like what different angles, and you can breathe and you're not like, see a lot of guys, like we get to the point where like you get so turned on that you have to finish, like you can't keep going, like you can't go past a certain point, and a lot of that is to do with like your breathing and your core and some exercises. Like I know you have to teach your clients like exercises like Kegels and these type of things. Like you got to learn about these things if you want to enjoy this area of life as much as you possibly can. So you can't teach everything in this one conversation.
Sometimes so strict on fitness too, because I can teach you all of this, right? Like we can teach them how to get on the medicine ball and do it, but if they give up after the first try because it's a little hard, if they don't keep going, they can teach you how to run, right? But if you don't build your stamina every day with a variety of different things, then when it comes to the bedroom, there is no quick fix. Sometimes you gotta put in the work just as much as our spiritual work, our abundance work, just as much, even if you're religious, your religious work. Whatever you do, you need to work at it to be good, and that's what you're saying. When you mention, I want to touch on that, when you mention knowing your partner's body, knowing your body, like that comes through experiencing each other, having good conversations with each other, knowing what your partner likes, don't like, and then any apprehensions that your partner may have too, right? So like sometimes a lot of people are self-conscious about certain areas of their body. You need to learn how to let that go. I always suggest a beautiful form of foreplay is meditation, sage burning right before sex, right? Something about the aroma of sage in the air also helps to add to the sexual experience. And meditation with your partner, directly with your partner, and getting an in-sync breath with your partner prior to sex will then help you be in sync and in each other's mind, body, and soul during sex. So I always say, you can't, even though, yes, foreplay, wonderful oral foreplay is amazing, kissing is amazing, all of that is amazing. A mental connection prior to sex is also probably one of the most important components of having a great, satisfying sexual experience. Would you agree, Noel?
100%. It's all, for me, everything you described, like if you look at, because in 2020, we're at a place in science where we can measure energy in the moment. I've been to events, Shante, where they've measured the energy coming from my head, my brain, from my thoughts, from my heart. Like they can measure the energy of the room. So everything Shante just described, like if we were measuring energy in the moment, you burn that sage, your frequency is going to go up. You meditate, your frequency is going to go up. You start to communicate and kiss and touch, your frequency is going to go up. Then you're actually in the oral, the foreplay part of it, and your frequency is going to go up. Their frequency is going to go up. If you're present, you can tune in to the frequency, the energy of your partner, and feel it just as they're feeling it. Maybe not, because when my partner's orgasm, like it takes my frequency to the point where I can orgasm without ejaculating. Like I can feel the same orgasm because I'm just in tune with it. And so there's just like levels to all of it, and it's just fun to just see where it can go. And all those things that Shante mentioned is just going to add to the overall experience. I can't say that I've ever done the burning of the sage prior to, but I like it. I'm down for it. Add some smells, because I have sounds and things. I have the best playlist on earth when it comes to a sexual playlist. Like I challenge anybody out there to challenge me.
If you guys are not playing the right music, when I'm telling you, sometimes you will hear a tune, a note, and there's certain, obviously, notes that are combined with the frequencies that are also combined with the chakras of the body. So if you find those songs and music that actually tune into, like, say, the sacral chakra, I mean, imagine that. Imagine that frequency, that vibe, the music on, emotions high. Like, when I tell you guys, sex is not to be played with, and you can go to so many different levels with so many different tools and tricks, like I like to say. I mean, don't limit yourself. Don't limit yourself. You just brought up a whole other thing with music. And
See, I'm interested in what you just described, because I want some of those on my playlist as far as you describing frequencies and finding energy based off of that. I'm saying the same thing. However, so years ago, I was like, which artist on earth, like, because you can sing about sex, but you could, but then you could really, really, really have your whole heart into it, like your whole being into it, right? Like basically, like if me or Shante were professional like singers, like well, you might be, I don't know if you are, I'm not, but we all think we can sing in the shower. But my point is, like the passion that we're sharing this conversation. Imagine if it was through the voice of like The Dream is my favorite artist. Like when it comes to you just can tell like this is a passion for his. Like Dream came out with a album in 2018 called Menage a Trois Sex Tape Volume 1, 2, and 3, which is 40 plus songs, and all of them are like everyone. So and I asked the question like which artist out there is this like really a passion for, and then I'll tune into that, and every once in a while a new one will come into my experience that'll go on the playlist. But and yes, whoever just asked me to share it. DM me. I'll send you the Spotify link. If there's one on earth that rivals this one, share it. Like I haven't found it.
Spotify link too.
Yeah. DM me. I got you guys.
So Erica Badu is the one who introduced me to music and frequencies. She says she records a lot of her music based on frequencies, and I found that to be, oh my goodness. So then I started obviously researching frequencies with sacral chakras, because I'm always about the sacral chakra. And I'm sorry, like I'm still like getting that research done. But that's like I like you could always go down a rabbit hole. That's what I'm saying. Like I start one place and I'm like, oh my God, this would be so intrinsic. And so I always want to teach workshops that are beneficial, that people can leave and then go experience something amazing. So right now that's the workshop I'm working on. So as I'm working on that, I'm probably going to be asking questions about your mood music and things like that, so I can like kind of tap into your brain.
Absolutely. I'm wide open, as you guys can see on this conversation. This is why this conversation is fun, Shante, because you're wide open also. So this is fun. Like this conversation could go for hours. And
I'm like, because when you say wide open, I'm like, it's just
there's nothing that I won't talk about, like at all. And when Shante asked me what are we going to talk about when we first started, I was like, well, that really depends on where you want this to go. Like I don't really guide, especially conversations about sexuality and sex and like whatever it is. I don't really guide them based off of what I want to talk about because I'm willing to talk about anything. So it just depends on what the guest brings out. And you started off right off the bat with this fun, like playful nature. So that's why this conversation has been so much fun. You guys, if the conversation on Instagram, and I'll see a countdown because they only give us an hour on here, if it should like count us down, you guys can join us over. I'm going to put this is how we're going to be on Zoom because I have a couple questions for Shante right now. But I'm going to put the link here. If this does start to count down or if you guys lose us,
yeah, I'm trying to do better at looking at both cameras, y'all.
you can join us over on Zoom and ask questions there.
To the people.
You guys don't have any questions on here? You take advantage while Shante and I are on here. We will answer pretty much anything that you have right now.
Somebody laughed earlier.
So, okay. So that's the link. That's the link if you guys want to join us on Zoom if this should happen to run out. So, what's your vision, Shante? Like, what do you want to see right now, and whether it be your personal life, your coaching practice, or for humanity? Like, I love asking people this because I could ask you this a year from now, and you're gonna have another year of life experience, and this could totally change. So, what's going on with you right now?
Right now, I said I had a baby 11 months ago, but it feels like it's like 2 months ago. He doesn't tonight yet, so I'm still like, okay, yeah, I'm here, but it's still rough. But I'm doing what right now. I'm working on. So I have a workshop, all you can eat workshop that is oral pleasure, but it's with fruit and vegetables and things like that. So I have my clients practicing on pears and oranges and peaches and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm working on right now. But I like to do those things in person. But with COVID and everything, we're kind of being a little bit more respectful of that. So I'm working on a lot of holistic things, getting our immunity right, using sex to boost our immunity. So I'm working on that as well. But really just enjoying these moments because I feel like these are moments that I'm not going to be able to get back, like any moment, but definitely right now where it's not so pressed to be somewhere, right? This is like, you don't have these many times, you don't have to be pressed to be somewhere. Everything I've had to be, it's like on my, so I've had to be on meetings and things like that and meet with clients, but everything's been on my phone. So I haven't really had to be present in a place. So it's allowing my mind to get a great break. You know what I mean? And really allowing me to meet some really special people. Like, I feel like I've met the most special people during this COVID whole thing. I mean, I'm like, oh my goodness, like I said, I left my corporate job and I've just really been focusing on the things that make me laugh, make me smile. And I really, like, today I was like, oh my goodness, he's okay with me just being Shante, like, I don't have to be, like, overly education oriented and all that. Like, I'm just Shante, like, you know what I mean? I'm Shante. I love to talk about sex and being moist and all that good stuff because, everybody likes to be moist. And if you ain't moist, let's have a conversation about that. Are you hydrated? Are you drinking your gallon of water a day, people? I need y'all to drink a gallon of water a day, okay? Keep things moist, okay? Can be dry out there with cobwebs, okay? If you go on a single strike and you ain't getting it like he's getting it, I'm gonna need y'all to dust off the cobwebs, okay? Keep it moist, even if you're not getting it, okay? There's some wonderful, great things out there. You don't have to use a vibrator. You can use your fingers, okay? But the coochie does do something called atrophy. If you don't use it, you will lose it, okay? So I don't need you to get your muscles all too tight where nobody can get it. That's for the ladies, okay, guys?
Preach.
It's very important.
I love it.
Guys, it's very important. You guys need to ejaculate sometimes. Take care of your prostate. If you need somebody to milk your prostate, get your prostate milked. Make sure things are nice and tidy. Oh, rimming. We ain't talking about rimming either. We don't have to talk about rimming this episode. We may talk about rimming tonight.
I've never talked. We can talk about anything that you want. This.
Right now, I'm really just an advocate. I'm an advocate for healthy, happy living.
What you just described. So you get to throw in rimming at the end, and then don't hit on it. just baiting me to go in this direction. So I'm very straightforward because here's what I love about life. Like, we can again ask the universe to bring us anything that we desire into our life, and like for me, how you mentioned you met some really cool people during the whole COVID thing. If you're not out there, I would just ask yourself, how open are you to it, and are you trusting that the universe can bring you people or God or love or all that is, source, spirit, whatever it is that you resonate with. I use all these words again as synonyms. It's an energy to me. But what I love knowing is that I could ask for anything and just know that it's coming. I don't know when or where or who it's going to be or what they're going to look like or what their name is going to be, but I just know that it's coming. And so for me, it's just been all about, because like there's been many times in my life where, and I'm totally cool with this. Like I have an agreement with the universe that if somebody comes into my life that I can share things with, and if we can share a sexual experience, awesome. That's going to allow my energy to go to awesome places. But a lot of times I'm like in a teaching mode where I'm giving people like awesome insights on life, and I'm totally cool with that. Like I'm always down for that. But I'm asking the universe, like, bring me some humans that, you know, are on that, like, can vibe with me, you know, maybe share a thing or two with me and just enjoy life with me here, to where I don't really have to feel like the teacher. I can just feel like I'm enjoying. And so, you know, that has happened, and it's just fun. But for somebody, and we only have a minute and 40 left on here on this Instagram, so you guys join us on Zoom, because I don't know how long Shante has, but I'm going to talk to her for a little bit more after this. So if you guys want to continue on, the link is right there, universalabundance.co/Shante podcast. But for me, it's like people that are willing to just be fully explorative, like not have any, just be wide open with me, are the ones that are the most memorable experiences for me now. So like you threw out rimming there at the end. It's just like, I have a funny thing, and like I like to ask this, and I mean, I guess maybe it partly might be ego, but it's kind of interesting. Like you guys know how the Olympics happen, and you know at the end of the Olympics you have the gold, the silver, and the bronze. You know, the medal stand. You know, all I'm curious to know is that if somebody is with me, like, did I make the medal stand of your Olympics of life? And if not, I'm so excited for that person as far as the amount of enjoyment they've had. Like they've had an awesome life when it comes to this area of life. And so for me, like the only way that someone could participate on mine where it's that memorable is if they're wide open and they're willing to just explore like I'm willing to explore and enjoy like I'm willing to enjoy. Like it can't be like holding back. And it's all good. People are where they are. And I don't ever like try to convince or persuade someone to try or do anything. I'm always curious though. I'm seeing what people are open to, and you know, if I can tell they're open, then we can go there. If not, you know, so rimming's one of those things where it's like, I'm just curious to see if, you know, that's a part of the potential, and some people might not even know what that is. But we only got 10 seconds here on IG, so I don't know if we'll be able to explain it. You guys share this. Oh my gosh. Okay, back over here. This is so much fun. Okay, so now I'm going to turn this speaker on so people can hear you on Facebook. In a momento.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. You're going to start coming here. Oh, let me post this on IG so this doesn't get lost so people can share it. That will work. All right. Live with at. This conversation is fun.
We talk about everything under the sun today.
They're going to enjoy this conversation on, I'll share some things with you afterwards as far as where this is going to go inside of Universal Abundance. They've been enjoying all my sexual conversations with different humans from around the world.
I've been enjoying them too. I've watched the little excerpts.
Yeah. All the full versions of these are stored. The videos are stored inside of Universal Abundance, and then the audios go on iTunes and Spotify. But it takes a few weeks to get those.
I was like, oh, that's a little nifty website there.
The way I look at life, Shante, is like if those that are open to new awareness, like happening like forever, like it's a forever thing, and that matters to them, then they'd be like excited to learn from all these different people and experience. But then if they take it a step further, as human beings, like naturally want other people to know, like if it's something's impacted us, we want other people to be able to be impacted by it. Like if it's a good book we read or a movie or food or whatever it is. So we naturally want to do this.
Find Jesus. They want to bring you to Jesus. They be really excited. They be really excited. It's like, look, come to Jesus. When they find Jesus, it's a good time. But that's how I felt about fitness. You know, when you first started like, you having a bad day. That's one of them.
I'd rather someone using, you know, external things, whether it be sex or working out, in order to feel good than reaching for things that make you not feel good. But at the same time, those things, and you know this already, Shante, but it's so much more fun to experience the external things if we're already, you know, vibrating, you know, we're already in a good place on the inside. Then we could take that energy to the sexual experience, and then it can go to a whole different place. Otherwise, and I've been here for sure, where before having all these awarenesses, where I would use sex to because I just wasn't feeling good in life. So it was like, let me have a fun sexual experience. And then when it was over, like by a few hours later, I'd be like, oh, when's the next one?
Right back where you started.
Yeah. So what I learned is if I can go into these experiences already whole and complete, which all of us are, then it can go to a whole other place. And then it's just like, I'm just filled with gratitude for, damn, I was already good, but thank you, God. Thank you, universe, for allowing me to like experience this.
So, like, oh, I see stars and rainbows. Like, oh, life is amazing.
It's just different levels to all of it.
But that's so funny because that's one of the reasons why I do not drink when I am sad, because I never wanted to be one of those people that turn to alcohol like out of like that. So when I do drink, and if I do have a little excess, I turn into like the most bubbly sexual being ever. And they say like whatever happens, like when you're drinking, is like who you truly are. Well, I'm not one of those like you're the kindest human. Like that is so funny. I turn into this. Nothing bothers me. Like it's so funny. But I never wanted to be the person that turns to anything like and become obsessed with it. You know, like even sex. Like overly obsessed with it. I just wanted to own it. You know, I wanted to own my experiences, and I think that now has transitioned to all aspects of my life. Like now I realize I can own every experience. You know, positive or negative, it's up to my reaction, right? And I think that's the biggest thing that you and I both try and teach people is your reaction. Like, how are you reacting to the things that the universe is giving to you, right? Like, you can learn from everything, positive and negative. And I have to be reminded of it myself. And I think we all have to be. Nobody has all the answers, like you say. We have to continue on the same path and every day enrich our spirits with the things that equip us to respond appropriately, as we should, right? Like to bring us more abundance. In my opinion, that's just my opinion.
As a beautiful opinion, I love. So it's so challenging while we're experiencing situations in life where any of us would say that's a challenging part of life. But if we realize really the blessing in all of it, like now, because we can look back and connect the dots and say, if it weren't for experiencing that, then I wouldn't even know that I enjoy this. Or if I didn't have that experience with that partner, that I wouldn't know that I even like this or that this even existed. Like maybe there was nothing else about them that you enjoyed as far as spending time around them. But there was that one thing where you're like, damn, I'm so happy that you even let me know that exists, because in my future partnerships, I'm going to make sure that this is a part of it. And so we can find like the blessing in all of it, and just every life experience is giving us new growth, new learning, new clarity, which allows us to have a stronger desire for what it is that we would like to see. And so, if we can remember that, then the situations in our life, whether you're experiencing them right now or have ever experienced them, they don't have to be so like hard on us where we're like, damn, like this was the worst thing ever. And yeah, maybe it was challenging, but there were things in there that if it weren't for those, you just wouldn't be the person that you are. And so we can all appreciate that. Yeah.
They build our character. They build our, they make our spirituality to me more intense, right? Like there's so many things that I've gone through that I know I would not have come to the same place right now had I not gone through them. But then there's also, I'm talking about the good stuff. Like when I think about the good stuff, it just makes me moist thinking about it right now. The good stuff that just adds to your life in such an incredible way. The bad stuff too, but all of those are lessons learned, right, Noelle? Like literally the lessons that I've learned, I can never monetize them enough. Like there's no money, even if I do make the millions off of the lessons that I've learned, like so many of us do, right? Like a lot of them make millions off the lessons they've learned. You go teach those things. But even still, the peace that comes from that, the peace, the vulnerability, I remember one time getting my heart broken, like severely, right? Like getting my heart broken. And I remember thinking, oh my goodness, I can feel again. Because I hadn't felt anything in a while. But once I got my heart broken, I could feel, and I knew I was capable of feeling. And I think I can't put any kind of like negative connotation on that, because I felt again. Regardless, it was a pain, but I was able to feel something. I was lacking a feeling for a minute. And I'm like, okay, where is the feeling? But I got my heart broken. And then there's some like underlying things in that too that I work with clients with, those who actually get addicted to the broken heart. So they get addicted to the pain. So they start self-sabotaging within their relationships, because that's all they know is the pain, right? So they do things either consciously or subconsciously that brings them to a painful end, because that's what they've become accustomed to. So I think that's interesting to know too, is just being aware of that and not being so caught up in the pain.
Absolutely, absolutely. Dang, I'm very excited that people are discovering you from this conversation, and that more will for sure, because you're doing powerful stuff. Like, so I'm sure you're coaching people that are, already in relationships, single people that are looking for monogamous relationships, people that maybe are looking for, other than monogamous relationships. Are you all across the board? You're working with people in all these areas?
All across the board. I like to work with people who are in long-term relationships or parents. That's kind of my niche, but being like part of part of a polyamorous community as well as a swingers community, I like to work with those people too. But there's a lot of things that you have to be very secure about in those communities. And a lot of times, people are doing it for the sake of their partners to be in those kind of polyamorous relationships. They're doing it for the sake of belonging or whatever. And some people really are monogamous at heart, and they just don't know, what else is out there, or they're searching for something within that kind of confine, like putting titles over things. So I do work with everybody, but my specialty is really like long-term couples, people who have had some experiences but have found a hurdle, or they've a little pitfall and they have to get over it, like erectile dysfunction and stuff like that.
Okay. I want to, it's just popped in my mind. I want to make sure I share this. I can't overemphasize this with people, because I root for people so much, Shante. You can tell that with me, because I just know that we can all, have whatever it is that we desire. It just takes us first being clear with ourselves, what's important to us, and then being able to be honest about that. And so for you guys out there, like if you do want monogamy, or if you want to have, a non-traditional relationship, whatever that looks like for you, and everything in between, you can have it. It's just being clear with yourself first and foremost, and that's what you want. And that could evolve. Like, we're always evolving, so it doesn't have to be this is how I am today and this is how I'll always be, but this is how you are today. And so if you can actually project that energetically, where it's like, I'm excited for you to bring this to me, universe. Like, I don't know when it's going to happen, who it's going to be, what their name's going to be, but I'm open to it, and I'm going to get back to enjoying the moments of life here, and it will likely surprise me in a time where I wasn't expecting it, and then all of a sudden, boom, here they are. And just to be able to also be able to be honest verbally with everybody that you encounter along that journey, not trying to be a certain way because you think this is going to get this person to like you or be with you. Like, that's, to me, like, I don't like seeing that at all. That's why I hesitate sometimes to, and it just hasn't been a strong enough passion to where I've gotten close to where, like, I actually have courses that I've created, Shante, which, like, is from start to finish, like, because I'm the most knowledgeable dude that I've met when it comes to, like, I've been going up to people in the mall since I was 12. So show me somebody out there, like, I'm 37 now. Like, this is a long time. And it only took me about a year of doing that before I was finally, and I'm not saying this to brag, but this is just how important it was to me. Like, I was sexually active like a year later. Like, and ever since. So it's just like, this is something that's always mattered to me, to my favorite part of life. And I've just been evolving. But I'm so honest with people now that, I'm not looking for a monogamous relationship, because every sexual experience that I've ever had and that I ever will have, there's a different energetic frequency between the two involved, like the two people or more, if it goes to that. So it just it just don't. Every time I say that, it's just not accurate to say like that's like my only experiences. But just whatever the experience might be, the energy is always different. So I enjoy like just being present to it and seeing where it could go, because there's none of us have experienced, again, like the frequencies that exist out there. There's so many more that we can experience. So there's been plenty of people, Shante, that I've said that to, that have been like, well, I am looking for a monogamous relationship, and I don't want to get hurt being involved with you, Noel. And we can both respect each other, be friends, like it's all good. It might not ever go there, and it's all good. It doesn't make us attracted to each other any less, but it just is what it is. So I'm very comfortable like being super honest, and you don't have to be worried out there that, oh my gosh, like if I'm honest about what I want, there's nobody out there that's going. There's 7.7 billion humans on Earth. I promise you, there's millions of people out there that want what you want. Just statistically, like no matter what you want, like it doesn't matter how, like in your mind, how off the wall it might be. And this is what I love about social media, because now we're, so many people being open about what's important to them, that you can find people that are like speaking about whatever it is that you want. And so before social media, it probably was difficult, because you might have thought you were the only one that wanted these things, because how many people are really talking openly, about all this stuff. So
I think a lot of people felt isolated before social media. Can you imagine? Like, there's these little communities. I mean, there's always been communities of people like-minded, right? Like, they're used, like all these different communities. There are chat groups and stuff. But then that was it. Like you were confined to those people in the chat group, and then you'd have maybe a little mini chat group over here, and you have all these like little chat groups, but all these people also feel isolated within their chat group. So then like, oh, I just know these couple of people in my town or these couple of people, and then it's like hard to start mingling. But now with the introduction of social media, and like you're in Miami, I'm in Houston, like we can have these great open dialogue conversations and respect each other for our stance and be able to like link up, you know, like I think that's also just I'm always so amazed by where we are today versus like where I remember the first time getting on a chat group and somebody put LOL. I was like living on life support. I was like, what the heck is LOL? I was like, what is that? And then I remember somebody had to type and say, it was like, oh, it's laughing out loud. I'm like, oh, sorry. Thought it was like living on life support. Like I didn't know what the heck it meant. But now we like evolved to such just a beautiful open space. And I think it's because like you and I manifest certain things that I encounter a lot of open people. Like a lot of people who are open, not even sexually, but just open to experiences, probably way more adventurous than I am. Because I'm not like one of those people that's gonna jump out of a plane. Like that's just not who I am. But I start to like attract a lot of these thrill seekers. And I'm like, okay, I'll be right there supporting. Woo! Like I'm gonna watch you jump out that plane. I'm like, yay! And then one day it crossed my mind, I'm like, maybe I could jump out of a plane. But I hyperventilate whenever like there's too much air in the cabin at the airport. You know, I'm like, wait a minute, I can't get on a plane. You know what I mean? Like it's a whole nother experience. So I think respecting each other's experiences, what they want, like I'm really grateful for this conversation today because I really feel like, you know, to meet somebody who's like energetically similar as well as open to having just any kind of dialogue, you find them, but then some people, you know, they surely wouldn't broadcast it. You know, I'm in a very where we're still trying to make
live,
right? Right. So like we're still trying to make sex the norm. As much as everything is sex based in our country, we're still fighting to make it the norm. So I'm like, this is crazy. Like every commercial, every show, even the cartoons the kids are watching have some kind of innuendos. But yet, if I mention it, somebody's reporting it. Or if we're talking about orgasms, people are like, oh my goodness, I can't believe she just said that. I'm going to click out. Like literally, it's just getting to be like, we're still fighting for this to be the norm. That's why I was really happy to see that you had so many like sexuality experts on your show and talking to so many of us. Like, I'm like, yeah, that's what I'm talking about, sister girl. Like, I'm following, like, yeah, girl, that's what I'm saying. Tell the people. You know me, I'm always an advocate. Like, there is more than enough for everyone. And this is such a crucial movement. And it's probably going to be a movement for a long time. It has always been, especially the way women are looked at in sexuality. Like some women don't want to be objectified, but what they don't know is that you can definitely use your feminine energy to your advantage. You know, I get it. Like we may not want to be objectified, but you know, some of us just fine. You know, if they gonna look, girl. Look, let them look a little bit. Ain't nothing wrong with it. But you know what I'm saying? I'm just grateful. I'm really grateful for the opportunity to have this conversation. You know, I get on my tangents no way else, so you can stop me when I get on my tangents.
I enjoy all of them. It's fun. Obviously, I do too. So, no, this is fun. This is a conversation that I would have wanted to have with you anyway. And to me, it just makes it more fun and more valuable to record it and share it so that other people can be impacted by it. And you guys out there definitely share this. Like, if you're watching this live right now, like I've been streaming these, and I wasn't doing this before all the COVID stuff started, but I just wanted to start giving people a chance to just to have some positive energy like flowing at them to where they can be impacted. And you know, these videos, they all lie inside of my community, which like the people in there like are definitely enjoying the value. And I just appreciate conversation like these. Like anything else, Shante, that you want to share with the audience, just to squeeze any more juice out of you, that I just want to make sure that if I didn't have the insight to ask the question, that it wants to come out, that somebody now or 50 years from now might be able to like, ooh, I'm so happy she shared that. Anything at all.
Trust yourself. Always, foremost, trust yourself. Trust that you know what's good for your body. Trust that you know what's good for your mind. Trust that you know what's good for your soul. Trust yourself. Even if it doesn't feel like others will support you, even if it feels like something that you're not sure of, trust yourself and know that you deserve all of the abundance, whether it's sexually or otherwise. You deserve that orgasm boost. I promise.
Absolutely. I love that. And you guys definitely, next time you're faced with an opportunity to do anything that you say, this would be fun, just do it. That's my advice. Take it or leave my advice. Like, I'm not saying you should do it. I didn't say it, but I'm saying my advice would be, if you're asking me, which I'm going to give unsolicited since nobody's asked, I'm going to say just do it, because who's to say you're going to have another opportunity? I'm sure you will have many, and I'm sure we'll all live another 100 years and be able to have many opportunities. But just in case we don't, we're alive right now. And so any opportunity to do something that is really going to be enjoyable, where we can connect with another human being. I mean, this is one of the reasons why we wanted to come here and be physical, be a human, because we get to smell and taste and touch and be touched. And like, if we didn't want all of those things, then we would have just stayed out in the spirit world, which, is all good too. So, do whatever it is that you're inspired to do out there. I'm not saying you should or shouldn't do anything. However, if you do start taking inspired action towards things that feel good, that you're excited about, you'll just be like, you'll marvel at what unfolds in life. Like, I've had people, Shante, recently, and they were on Instagram too, because I said some things and I saw someone tuning in on Instagram that have become a very close friend of mine very, very quickly during this quarantine time. But they almost, and we joke about it, and I respect the reasons why, because like they're at a phase in their life where, they were exploring celibacy, even though sex is by far their favorite part of life as well. But just exploring for them, like just making sure that they weren't giving the goods away to anyone other than someone that they were like totally like lined up to giving them to.
Right.
And I totally respected it the whole way. And it almost went to the point where it just wasn't going to go there with us. However, they allowed it to. I hung out with them. You guys would be like, Noel, you're obnoxious. But up until this point, I never hung out with a human in life 3 days in a row without having sex with them. Like, I just had never done it before. Like, it's like, even like on the second day, it's like rare for me. Like, I have to sense that it's because I can share all these like life insights and we can vibe and all that stuff. Like day one, we can go back and forth. But for me, I want to experience the frequencies that I can't experience with words. Like, I want to experience those as well. So if we're not in alignment there, like, it's all good. We can still be friends. But I'm likely by the third day, I'm going to be attracting someone that wants to experience life in these places with me, because that's what I'm attracted to you, but you don't want it to go there. So I need to attract somebody that wants it to go there. Long story short, they allowed it to go there. And I used the metal stand analogy like earlier. We both were that for each other, which is awesome, unexpected, like for both of us. But it almost didn't, because of, just rules that were made for themselves. And like, I'm not doing this until this time. Like, it almost didn't. And it's just like to not experience something that brings that much joy and it's continued to bring so much joy afterwards. I just want you guys to experience that type of joy out there for you, if that's what you're wanting. So
the joy, y'all, the joy. Oh, Lord.
Unlimited joy. And
unlimited.
And if you get that from like watching a sunset or like going for a jog or whatever it is, like,
or lifting weights.
Yeah, anything, for sure. I get lots of joy like lifting weights and doing all this stuff. I'd be lying if I didn't say that was going to enhance my activities, my sexual activities. Right. So all this stuff, like, it all plays a role. Like the mind, body, spirit, it all plays a role. You evolve the mind and the spirit, like it's gonna improve areas of the body and vice versa. It all plays.
Absolutely.
So.
Absolutely.
So much fun. Well, thank you for sharing your time with me. We vibed for a while. Like, it's these conversations, I never know how long they can go. I'm happy that you had an hour and a half to spend with me, because we just vibed for that, even though it went by just like that.
Awesome.
And I just appreciate you for sharing your love. And you guys follow Shante and work with her if you're inspired to. She has so many different things. And Shante, if you ever need like a guest, I've been saying it wrong the whole time. No, I've been.
Yeah, but we were talking. I didn't want to just like interrupt with Shante.
Did I at least say it right a few times, or did I say it wrong the whole time?
I think like once or twice in there.
Oh my gosh, I apologize. Shante, I got it forever now. I think I said it right at the beginning, and then I've been messing it up ever since.
Yeah,
but you guys,
Shante means peace, though. In Hebrew side.
I like it. You guys definitely connect with Shante and share this episode. Leave a review on iTunes that says that Shante Human was awesome, and I became aware of this, and this, and sexual fitness and all these things, and being able to orgasm while working out. Like, I had no idea. Like, leave a review that says that, and I'll make sure I screenshot it and tag it, and that'll allow more people to find this episode. Which, I mean, it's so cool that just one little share or one little review can allow so many more people to experience what you've experienced now, and I just think that that's priceless. So pay it forward, definitely, and thank you guys for doing that. And we'll talk to you guys soon on another episode. Shante, thank you for sharing these vibes with me. So much fun. And I'll talk to all of you guys soon on another episode.
Thanks, awesome. Noel. Have a great one.
Hold on, don't leave it. I'm going to stop the stream and I'll say bye to you.
Okay.
Unless you're